And a very happy Friday to you at 12:08 in the West. It's the John Phillips Show. Mr. Randy Wangs in Culver City.
John writes in at johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com with the subject line Friday. Will the host be taking orders again while doing the show through a Jack-in-the-Box drive-thru speaker? Also, I didn't get my fries yesterday.
Okay, if you pulled up to a drive-thru and you saw me standing there with a headset on, what do you think the odds are you're going to get what you ordered?
0.
That is correct. As I mentioned before, I am in Sin City, Las Vegas for one more day. I'll be back in California on Monday, out here for a couple of dinners with our pal and friend of the show, Jim Lacey. And I got to tell you, Randy, last night at the tables, at the blackjack tables, Jim Lacey and I were killing him. We could not lose.
You just announcing that has cursed you for the rest of the trip.
Well, personally, I think I saved the table on more than one occasion. I had a play last night that never failed me, not once. I call it the R. Kelly.
Oh, no.
You know why?
Why is that?
Because I always hit on 16. Although if you're R, I think that's not the only number you hit on, but to each their own, as they say. 800-222-5222 is the telephone number, 1-800-222-5222. Well, the city of Los Angeles has a mayor that is under fire for her performance in the wake of the devastating fires in Pacific Palisades. And now she's taking on President Donald Trump and the federal government, refusing to cooperate with ICE or acknowledge rioting going on in downtown Los Angeles. In Northern California, the mayor in San Francisco is having a very different experience. Randy, he's one of the most popular mayors in America.
Daniel Lurie, 6 months into becoming the mayor of San Francisco, has a 73% approval rating.
73%? What other politician has an approval rating anywhere near that?
Nobody. And I'll tell you, there are a lot of reasons for this, and I think one of the ones is people in the city see Daniel Lurie walking up and down the streets every single day, and when he sees something he doesn't like, he calls somebody.
That's the way a mayor should be, as opposed to, I don't know, at a presidential inauguration in Ghana.
Daniel Lurie sat down with NBC Bay Area to talk about his first 6 months and what's ahead for San Francisco. Here's NBC Bay Area.
We begin in San Francisco. Are things getting better in the city? It's been about 6 months now with the new mayor in charge, and so far his approval ratings are sky high. However, he's still...
Poor London Breed.
I wonder if she's watching the news.
I mean, she made a heel turn, and she started making a lot of improvements, but a lot of people, especially a lot of voters, thought it was way too little and way too late.
Make that money!
And she would also be schizophrenic about it. Some days she would make sense, and then the next day she'd talk about how wonderful the ambassadors are. Either you're down for public safety or you're not.
People have been stabbed in Urban Alchemy. They've been shot. They've been attacked. And they still show up every single day as an alternative to policing for this community.
You know, it's been 6 months. What is she doing next?
I don't know. I haven't heard anything from her.
However, he's still getting a lot of heat for how he's handling some key issues. Today, Mayor Lurie was all smiles. There he is at City Hall, a political victory for him as he signed a balanced budget, a $16 billion budget for the next couple of years, 2 years, closing an historic $800 million budget deficit.
And you know how they made those cuts? They cut a lot of nonprofit money.
Good. That's what they should do, as opposed to what Karen Bass did, which was cut the police. Not sworn officers, but everything else.
Well, and the other thing that Karen Bass did was they cut down the academy classes, so there's not going to be any more hiring.
What's Steve Gutenberg have to say about that?
That's the upside. The Board of Supervisors passed it 10-1, with only one supervisor, Jackie Fielder, voting against it.
You know, that's the other thing that's going on in San Francisco. Not only was Daniel Lurie elected, but a lot of the crazies that were in the Board of Supervisors were either termed out or lost their re-elections.
For once, something good about term limits.
Now, immediately after signing that budget, we went behind the scenes with the mayor at San Francisco's new permit center on South Van Ness. This is one of his new initiatives, cutting the red tape and making it easier for small businesses and homeowners to build or make improvements. Today's conversation also gave us a chance to address some other major issues, including how he's tackling the city's homeless crisis. He has every reason to smile. 48-year-old Mayor Daniel Lurie, who was a newcomer to City Hall 6 months ago.
Boy, compared to some other politicians in other big cities in California, he's a youngin'.
I'll tell you, we have a lot of turkeys in California, but he's doing interesting things in San Francisco, and Matt Mahan is doing interesting things in San Jose.
He has every reason to smile. 48-year-old Mayor Daniel Lurie, who was a newcomer to City Hall 6 months ago, is enjoying a political honeymoon unlike any recent San Francisco mayor.
You too.
A new poll by the Chronicle reveals Mayor Lurie has a 73% approval rate.
I think you're the fifth mayor I've covered. Willie Brown, Gavin Newsom, Ed Lee, London, and now yourself. I don't think I've ever seen a 73% approval rating.
Gavin never got something that high.
No.
Why is that happening right now?
It's happening because we're staying focused on public safety, the behavioral health crisis, and making sure that we lean in on our economic recovery. Crime is down 30%. Car break-ins are at 22-year lows. In Union Square in the financial district, crime is down actually 45%.
You think that approval rating can stay that high?
Boy, the next time you stay at the Hilton in Union Square, you might be able to actually walk outside.
Okay, he's not being entirely clear about what's going on there, though. If all of the businesses have gone under and there's nothing left to rob, bragging about the fact that none of them are getting robbed is not exactly something you want to do.
Some of them are coming back. They just opened a Nintendo store.
You think?
Is that right next to the Blockbuster Video?
You think that approval rating can stay that high? Usually it doesn't.
I don't care about the numbers. I care about delivering results.
$16 billion.
That's refreshing.
Yes. The one person in the state of California who's interested in results.
$16 billion budget you sign it today. Big load off your back there, or is there something that you regret about what's in there?
We had to make tough choices in this budget. We all did, but we were fiscally disciplined.
One of the many cuts, and I know cuts are difficult to do, was organizations like Open Door Legal. These are providing free services, legal services for lower income families. Those families need these services and face the potential of...
Oh, can we stop giving money to all these nonprofits for eviction defense?
Yes. And by the way, what do you need a nonprofit for that anyway? If you're poor and you need legal advice, do what everyone else does. Call Handle on the Law. There's an 800 number.
Becoming homeless, getting driven out of their homes. Did you review those cases?
Of course, not everybody got what they wanted. No one did. From my side of City Hall to the supervisor's side of City Hall. In terms of immigrant defense and LGBTQ plus services, we kept those even. Of course, we all would.
What would those even be?
Yeah. All of these organizations are suspect. The city needs to focus on the nuts and bolts of what cities are supposed to do. Picking up the trash, making sure the streets are paved, making sure the sidewalks are safe, making sure the cops have what they need, the fire department has what they need, and stay out of the rest of it.
Of course, we all wish we could go up. Can't do that in a time of where we inherited an $800 million budget deficit.
We spoke 6 months ago when you first got in office, and you said if the streets aren't better to hold you accountable. Are the streets better, or are you just simply clearing one block and then putting it at another block?
We absolutely see displacement.
Can I get an assist on there, Shangy?
Shang?
Clearing one block and then putting it at another block.
We absolutely see displacement.
Thank you, Shangy.
Look at that, Oakland helping out San Francisco.
And we are going to be relentless in going to wherever those pockets are and making sure that we not only get people the help that they need, but also tell people you are not going to be selling drugs in our city any longer.
And those big arrests have made improvements. There are parks that were unusable a year ago. They're usable today. And just this week, the San Francisco Board of Supervisors and Lurie passed a ban on overnight RV parking. That's something every major city in the state of California needs to do. But because San Francisco is doing that, San Jose is doing that, and San Diego is doing that, John, where are all the RVs going to go?
L.A. and Oakland.
Yep.
Plenty of opinions and analysis on how you're handling the homeless situation here in San Francisco. You tell me, how are you handling it?
We have a long way to go. We need to build more mental health and drug treatment beds. What I would say is we are off to a...
That's refreshing, too.
Yeah, no kidding. Now, the problem that he's going to have, though, is that now that we have the city with their heads screwed on straight, we need the judges and the juries and the parole boards and everyone else to get with the program, too.
Well, that's been one of the big problems in San Francisco. You know, it's been years now since they dumped Chesa Boudin, and Brooke Jenkins got appointed and eventually elected to that job. And she can try everything she can to go after these illegal alien Honduran drug dealers that are pushing fentanyl out on the streets of the Tenderloin. But the judges keep buying this BS that they say they're victims of human trafficking.
And that's where Gavin has some degree of influence. He appoints the judges. If they want a promotion, they have to go through him. If he lets them know that he wants them to cut it out, they will, but he hasn't done that yet.
What I would say is we are off to a strong start. We've restructured our outreach teams. Now we have neighborhood outreach teams.
Can you clarify for me? We talked that you wanted to do, I think, 1,500 new beds for the homeless in the next 6 months, and that was 6 months ago. We're at, I think, maybe 200 or 300, so that's far short of that goal. What is the official strategy now from you?
Yeah, Raj, you know me. I believe in progress over politics. We got in there and we said, okay, what do we need? And it's the right kind of bed. We've added 400 new beds. We expect 1,000 by the end of the year. But these stabilization beds, like at 822 Gary Street, there's 16 of them there. Those 16 are far more efficient than, dozens and dozens of other beds that aren't getting the job done.
Is it disheartening?
Yeah, we're done with just adding more SROs. We're done with adding more tiny homes and motel rooms and all that nonsense because that doesn't help anybody. Do you know, we're at a point now in San Francisco where the majority of the overdose deaths from the homeless happen indoors to the ones that have housing.
Well, let's go back to a point that he made earlier that we referenced when he talked about being interested in results, and that's just about it. You compare that to what Gavin Newsom does and says, which is using as a metric of success how many programs he's created, how many people he's hired, how much money he spent, and the results are not relevant. The opposite is true with Lurie. He doesn't care about how many people he's hired or how many programs he's created. He wants to know, is the problem getting better or worse? And that's something that Gavin could use a good dose of.
Is it disheartening to hear the criticism that you're mistreating homeless people here?
What I think is that we have failed on many counts on how we're dealing with homeless families. Our shelter system needs to be stronger. It needs to be safer. And so I can take critique, no question. Like, I get it every day.
Things are going well with the Board of Supervisors. Do you think that relationship will maintain and hold?
I've said from day one, we can disagree about an issue. You can say whatever you want. And then the next day, if there's alignment and we can find common ground on the next issue, I'm at work with you.
Biggest surprise to you 6 months on the job, something that you weren't expecting?
Raj, you asked me before that I love this job. I love it every day. You said, we're not on air. You don't have to say that. I'm on air, and I'm telling you, I love this job.
I think you can believe that. I mean, he doesn't need this. The guy's loaded.
It's very rare you hear a California politician speak and you believe that they're sincere. But I believe that this guy is sincere when he made that statement.
Worth noting here, several prominent commercial real estate agents and developers in San Francisco have told me that business is picking up in terms of office space. However, foot traffic in downtown and Union Square remains quiet.
So there you go with that. I got to say, if you happen to be on Instagram, or I think he has Twitter too, but if you follow Daniel Lurie, he will post a video every day of just him doing selfie mode, walking up and down the streets, talking about what he sees. And if that's something every mayor should be doing every single day, literally walking the streets to see what the hell is going on in their city.
Imagine if LA had someone like that during the fires instead of someone who was on a different continent.
We could have.
We might be in a
We had a very similar kind of guy run, and he tried and spent a whole lot of money, including here, thank you very much, but he still lost by 20 points.
That is true, and at a certain point, you have to blame the voters. If you'd like to email the show, you can do so at johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. That's johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. And Randy, you're monitoring the mailbag.
AJ writes in at johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com with the subject line sound quality. John Phillips sounds like John Glenn on the Friendship 7 with that microphone.
I'll tell you, sitting here looking over the Bellagio pool, I feel like I am in outer space. If you'd like to email the show, you can do so at johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. That's johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. And Randy, with the weekend quickly approaching, if you want to listen to us on Saturday or Sunday, that's easy to do.
All you got to do is search for The John Phillips Show wherever you get your podcasts, whether it's the Apple Podcasts app, iHeart, Spotify. Search for The John Phillips Show. Hit subscribe. You can download all the episodes. You could do what George Gascon likes to do to himself in the middle of the night.
Do a Google on YouTube.
Or get one of those apps. Get the KABC app. Get the KSFO app. Download them. And that way you can listen live to these stations whenever and wherever you are and download all the podcasts. And I don't know how this actually works. I don't know if we personally get anything out of this, but I'd have to believe that if a whole bunch of you kept downloading those podcasts, we'd feel like Cecily Meyer Cruz one day.
Get that money!
But I actually have no proof of that. Somebody makes money off of it.
A friend of mine hit me up and said, what was that you guys were talking about the other day about the number of businesses that have left California since Gavin Newsom was elected governor? And I said, I don't remember. That wasn't even us. That was a listener who asked AI, and AI came up with the answer, and then they emailed it to us, and we read it on the air. I said, if you want to find out just exactly how many businesses left California, you're going to have to download the podcast and re-listen to that. In the meantime, what do you say we make a couple of listeners very happy?
Let's do that right now. 790 KABC welcomes Tribal Seeds with special guests, the Expandables, Mike Love, and more at the Pacific Amphitheater at the OC Fair on August 10th. It's all part of the Toyota Summer Concert Series. Tickets on sale now at packamp.com. But right now, caller number 9 at 1-888-790-5222 gets a pair of tickets to the show. All concert tickets include admission to the OC Fair. Tickets furnished by the Pacific Amphitheater. Good luck dialing.
All right, it's now time to open up the California Crime Blotter.
If the cashier is dummy.
Questions?
And Randy, this edition of the Blotter is an update on what we talked about earlier this week going on in Encino.
So we've had a lot of burglaries going on in Encino. You even had a double homicide that went on in Encino. That's what led to that public safety meeting led by Nathan Hochman and the LAPD, where they promised a bigger show of force of what's going on in Encino. They've got mounted units going up into the hills. They've got more patrols, and didn't matter. Another burglary happened yesterday.
That's no good.
For more, here's NBC4.
Darsha, thank you. Fear and concern in Encino after yet another burglary in the neighborhood. The uptick in crime has people on high alert, even as police have already added extra patrols there. NBC4's Robert Kovacic is in Encino for us tonight. And Robert, what are neighbors saying?
Carolyn, this is a true gut punch to those that we spoke with, those who are really holding out hope that the LAPD is going to make a difference. But consider what happened here today. It happened in the middle of the day. It wasn't behind some big fancy gates. It was 6 guys who walked out of that house wearing masks, holding boxes, and then just jumped into a car. And though neighbors say the LAPD response was super fast, these guys still got away.
Sounds about right.
It's not exactly like these guys are even trying to hide what they're doing. They feel like they could get away with it, and they are.
Hours after the LAPD announced an enhanced crime suppression strategy for Encino, with visible deployment on display, it happened again.
Police told me they are fearless, so they have no fear about where they break in.
And it happened to this homeowner, too afraid to show her face. She had just left.
Everyone's afraid of retaliation by going on the news.
You notice it's an LA and an Oakland thing. I don't think we have the same dynamic going on in Orange County or the Central Valley or other parts of the state.
She had just left her home around 12:30 this afternoon when the LAPD says 5 or 6 men wearing masks broke in.
They broke.
So they're casing the neighborhood constantly. They knew when she left, and they knew when she'd be back.
Well, and this is why you have to identify who the problem children are and remove them from society. How much you want to bet it's the same group doing this to everyone?
They broke in through the glass back door, and my alarm went off immediately.
I don't even know why they pick the homes they pick, honestly.
The only connection we seem to be able to find is that the homes targeted are in an affluent area of Encino known as south of the Boulevard, Ventura.
I didn't even know that was an official area. That's just something people like to brag about.
It sounds like something that was cooked up by a realtor.
Although you must feel good right now if you happen to be north of the boulevard in the dumpier parts of Encino. They're being ignored. If you're right under the 101 freeway, no one's breaking into your home.
Nope.
Ventura Boulevard, that is. And that includes the location of where American Idol producer Robin Kay and her husband Tom DeLuca were killed inside their home.
We've got more details on that one, by the way. So apparently, this was a complete psychopath that should have never been on the streets. This guy, and I think I have the details right on this, he got busted for trying to stab his mother.
That's not good.
After a mental health evaluation, they decided he needed to have a conservatorship with the same mother.
Ooh, that's a mulligan I bet you they wish they had back.
So he is not in a locked facility. He is not getting treatment. He is deemed fit to be okay as long as his parents, one of them who he tried to kill, are watching him. He breaks into this home, finds the gun of the homeowners that he's breaking into. They come home, discover him. He shoots them, and then he calls the cops on himself.
Sounds like a pretty California story.
During an attempted robbery on July 10th.
Everybody certainly knows about what happened on White Oak when 2 people were murdered in their own home. So I think everybody's on high alert.
The burglars today left behind evidence and a clue.
Because my house is so old and my alarm system is so old, it is wired, so not Wi-Fi, and the person dropped their iPad trying to jam the Wi-Fi.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, they tried to use a digital technique to go after an analog house.
Yeah, this is usually what the criminals do. They get these Wi-Fi jammers. By the way, equipment that you can buy on Amazon, the website where everyone buys things to commit crimes with.
Thanks, Jeff Bezos.
So if I were making a recommendation...
By the way, if they steal a whole bunch of things from the home, they probably sell them on Amazon.
Probably.
So if I were making a recommendation for other people, it would be to get your alarm systems hardwired and not Wi-Fi, because my system was impossible to shut down.
Advice for stressed out neighbors searching for solutions.
My kids are scared. My wife is scared. we're going to have to take matters into our own hands, and it's just going to become a situation that's going to get worse.
The next chapter of this story is these robbers are going to get shot dead by a homeowner.
Yes, and then the entire city is going to turn on the homeowner. We're going to find out about how wonderful the burglar was and how they were just trying to provide for their family and they're a pillar of the community and they were getting their life back together. And then we've already seen it happen before. What's going to happen is people are going to take it to the streets and the DA and the prosecutors, they're going to go after the homeowner. That's what's going to happen.
Melinda hoping the LAPD will deliver the protection Encino needs.
And these are fantastic, beautiful areas, and we just hope that, the police presence increases a little bit, and the neighborhood has come together as a result of all this, and hopefully things will kind of die down with that presence.
This neighborhood needs to do what was going on in Westchester, because we know who lives in Encino. It's a lot of retirees, a lot of people with time on their hands. You all got to join one giant group chat, and if you see anything, you start texting the thread.
Okay, if the security system is not on Wi-Fi because she's that analog, you think they're going to figure out how to do a group text?
It's a good point.
Carolyn, we want to show this again. This is the getaway car leaving that home here in Encino this afternoon. It is a black Mercedes. Unfortunately, the license plate is covered or it was not there, so there's not a lot to go on. But listen, right now, neighbors tell us they'll take any piece of evidence, any tip that anyone possibly has that could possibly lead to arrests, that those are involved in this burglary today and perhaps other burglaries that have been plaguing Encino in recent weeks, in recent months. And again, Carolyn, we have been here now for just about a year. We're live here in Encino. I'm Robert Kovacik. Let's go back to you.
So there you go. Even with the, quote, show of force from the LAPD, the burglaries continue.
And I think we need to point out one more time, when the community got together for a meeting to deal with this problem, the councilwoman representing the district, who is a DSA member, a Democratic Socialists of America, did not attend the meeting. The DA was there, other forms of law enforcement were there, the councilwoman was not, and the problem persists. But right now it's time to reopen the California Crime Blotter.
If the cashier is dummy.
Questions?
And Randy, this edition is also a bit of a back to the future because it involves another type of store that we've talked about quite a lot lately, and that is a jewelry store, specifically in the city of Anaheim.
We have had a jewelry store in Anaheim that's been robbed twice in the span of a week, as several jewelry stores keep getting hit in Anaheim. For more, here is NBC4.
Growing crime trend in the city of Anaheim. Robbers striking in large groups have now hit 4 businesses just in the past month, and they're all jewelry stores. NBC4's Hetty Ching live in Anaheim with a warning for jewelry store owners. Hetty.
The warning is it might be time to get that insurance.
Well, if they can afford it.
Well, that's the thing. Apparently, it's so expensive they can't. But if you're going to get robbed and you have no way to recoup those losses, what are you doing?
Well, I think what they're going to be doing is moving to Arizona.
Yeah, Michael and Carolyn, Anaheim investigators tell us that the workers here at Don Roberto's didn't even get a chance to fix the broken glass in their display cases when they were robbed again just on Tuesday afternoon. Police say in a lot of these cases, robbers are getting away with a lot in just a matter of seconds.
This is going to be like a liquor store that gets hit all the time. Instead of showing you the jewelry in the display cases, there's going to be little Polaroids of what the jewelry looks like.
And that type of business is just going to be something that you don't see too often. It's going to be like stores with ATMs inside them. If the ATM makes you a target, at a certain point you just take the ATMs out. If jewelry stores get hit right and left, they can't buy insurance, and the state of California won't protect them. At a certain point, they're just going to go away.
A woman listening to music in her car happened to capture the getaway Tuesday afternoon.
What was she jamming out to?
Is that mariachi music?
Little K-Love?
Could be.
Que buena.
A woman listening to music in her car happened to capture...
Violín por la mañana? I don't know if he's still a thing. Karen Bass went on with Don Cheto the other day.
Oh, did she now?
I don't think she spoke Spanish.
To music in her car happened to capture the getaway Tuesday afternoon. 4 men wearing hoodies take off in an olive green Dodge Charger after Anaheim police say they robbed Don Roberto jewelers. Police say the men got away on the 91 freeway.
I think there's like about 5 or 6, but this is
So they found the one time where you could actually move on the 91?
I drive that freeway all the time, and it doesn't matter if it's 10 o'clock at night or 5 in the morning. It is jam-packed.
I think there's like about 5 or 6, but this is a blue Mercedes.
Investigators say different robbers, 5 who are now in custody, hit the same jewelry store exactly a week prior.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
So who watched that news story of the smash and grab where people got arrested and said, you know what, I'm going to try that place. I think I'll have better luck.
It's just unreal.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7.
This witness did not want to show her face, fearing for her safety.
Everybody.
It's almost without fail at this point.
We're at a point now where the witness to every crime in Southern California is a blue dot.
She says she thought the men would hit her beauty salon next, but Anaheim police say robbers are targeting specifically jewelry stores.
Well, it's a much bigger heist than the beauty shop.
Yeah, what are they going to take from her? Moose?
Jewelry stores.
There's been bank robberies, jewelry store robberies, but not this frequency. It seems to be the new trend. These suspects have gone from high-end clothing, maybe bags, purses, to now diamonds and gold.
I mean, the thing is, if you're a professional burglar, and I'm sure there's plenty out there, might even be one listening to this show today, if you're going to have a score, the jewelry store is where you go. And when you saw those stories earlier this year, like the guys in Simi Valley or the ones in Encino, where they're literally cutting a hole through the adjacent business and then using a blowtorch to cut through the safe to steal all the jewels, and you make off with $1 million, that is going to attract every professional criminal in the country, maybe the world, to come here to Southern California, where there happens to be a lot of jewelry stores.
Well, the world is right, because we know there are organized crime rings, specifically from Chile, that are coming here